Thank you. I would like to ask you, what if you meet a designer who has very strong opinions, saying that who can just change the schedule of sprint? What would you do?
And they can't make it? You mean?
You mean it's the designer, we have to kind of follow it. It's the chief officer, and he said, no, we won't do that. We'll probably do another thing instead of mapping or prototype.
Oh, we won't follow the process.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a real life question.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, I would just whine. Personally, I would just whine and cry because I would be so mad. I think that it's helpful maybe when I've been doing sprints, and it's a weird experience for me because doing them at Google Ventures, eventually people knew that was kind of what I did and what me and my colleagues did, and they also knew we came from the investor, so we probably had their best interests at heart. But what I always tried to do with design sprints, and still do, is to explain why we're doing this. So we're doing this because this happens. And it's hard if it's your first design sprint. It's hard if you were to run into that the first time. That might be like a deal breaker. Actually, I mean, you might not actually be able to do it. And so, if assuming you've had the experience of having been through one, then I think the key is to say, the reason why we do the map is because if we don't agree what the target is, then later in the week, what happens if we change our mind about what the target is? We've already started solving it. In order to get all of these things done, to get to the point where we're testing a prototype with our customers on Friday, we have to have agreement very quickly on the scope, and then we have to focus only on that scope to come up with solutions. And decision making is hard, takes time. So I always try to explain it as a sequence of events. This leads to this, leads to this, leads to this, because that is why the steps are there. I mean, I took out everything I possibly could. And I would tell people with the map, for example, I hate doing the map. It's really frustrating. And actually, Steph has a really great map hack. So what's the name of that blog post, by the way?
Note and map.
Note and map. So if you search for Note and map, it'll save you 2 hours at the beginning of every sprint. It's a really nice technique. I hate making the map, and I tried to take it out of the sprint making process, or the sprint process. But when I got later in the week of a sprint when we didn't do the map, it would turn into spaghetti because people would bring something up or we'd question the focus. So it's all about knowing what the argument is for doing it. However, that's easy to say now with everybody who's at least somewhat interested in design sprints in the room. If you're in that moment, it could be really tough, and I would probably try to take the person aside and say, look, this is the script. I have high confidence it'll work if we do this because I've done it before, or lots of other teams have done it, or whatever. And if we don't do it this way, you're on your own, and that might be what I say. Could we do an overtime question or two? No, we can't do any.